Walter Isaacson, Steve Jobs. Dive into the extraordinary life and career of Steve Jobs, the visionary founder of Apple, with Walter Isaacson's biography. Discover his incredible journey from his humble beginnings as an adopted child through the creation of Apple, his personal life, and eventual return to the company he once co-founded. Explore Jobs' perfectionism, his passion for design, and his unrelenting dedication to creating revolutionary products. Learn about his journey through counterculture, Eastern spirituality, and the impact of Zen Buddhism on his life and work. This summary encapsulates the critical milestones of Jobs' life, his relationships, and the invaluable lessons one can glean from his personal and professional experiences.
Steve Jobs, from adoption to innovation. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs at a young age. They introduced him to mechanics while their Eichler house sparked his obsession with design. In high school, Jobs met Steve Wozniak and together they created the Blue Box, which allowed users to make free long-distance phone calls. They sold almost 100 boxes, realizing the potential of combining Wozniak's engineering skills with Jobs' vision. Steve Jobs, his journey of self-discovery. Steve Jobs was not only passionate about math, science, and electronics, he also immersed himself in the counterculture and experimented with LSD. His drug experiences, along with his interest in Eastern spirituality, helped him develop his minimalist aesthetic and reality distortion field, making him believe he could make anything happen. Jobs' passion for the arts, particularly calligraphy, also played a significant role in the design of Apple products, making them clean and simple. In the late 1960s, Jobs' interests overlapped with the geek and hippie cultures. He enrolled at Reed College in 1972 and became serious about meditating and experimenting with LSD with friends. Jobs felt that his drug experiences taught him that there is another side to the coin, which reinforced his belief that creating great things was more important than anything else. To explore Eastern spirituality, Jobs eventually traveled to India, where he stayed for 7 months, becoming entrenched in Zen Buddhism. He later incorporated this into his minimalist aesthetic approach and learned the power of intuition. Ultimately, Jobs' experiences shaped his reality distortion field, influencing his ability to bend reality to his will and achieve great things. His enthusiasm for the arts, combined with his technological expertise, resulted in the design of Apple products that are clean, simple, and intuitive. Jobs, Wozniak, and the birth of Apple. In the early days of the Silicon Valley technology revolution, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs founded Apple Computer with just $1,300 of startup capital. Wozniak had the idea to create a device that was a self-contained package, with a keyboard, screen, and computer all in one. They toiled away for a month, building 100 computers by hand, half of which were sold to a local computer dealer and the other half to friends and other customers. Apple's first computer, the Apple I, was on the verge of being profitable after just 30 days. The name Apple was chosen because it was simple, fun, and familiar. Inside the mind of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was an unforgiving perfectionist who demanded nothing less than excellence from himself and his employees. He would throw temper tantrums and verbally assault people if their work didn't meet his high standards. Jobs wanted the Apple II to be a perfectly designed, fully featured end-to-end computer. He drained the energy and will of those in the company with his uncompromising nature. As Apple grew, Jobs became increasingly erratic, prompting Mike Scott to be appointed as Apple's president to keep him in check. This often resulted in disagreements, with Jobs breaking down in tears, finding it difficult to relinquish control over Apple. Scott didn't want Jobs' perfectionism to take precedence over pragmatism. He had to step in when Jobs got too lost in the details, such as choosing the perfect shade of beige or deciding how rounded the corners of the computer case should be. Scott's focus was to get the product manufactured and sold, while Jobs' vision was to create something perfect. Jobs' journey to iconic status. Jobs sought to create a technology masterpiece that would leave a lasting impression on the world. This led him to the development of the Macintosh, as he sought to move beyond the success of Wozniak's Apple II. Jobs' perfectionism and oppressive behavior towards Apple employees ultimately led to his departure from the company. However, his relentless pursuit for innovation and celebrity status made him an iconic figure in the technology industry. From failure to success, Jobs' journey. After being fired from Apple, Steve Jobs launched Next, an educational computer that suffered due to his uncompromising vision. However, Jobs also invested in Pixar and experienced success with Tin Toy. Realizing the potential of animated films, Jobs shifted his focus to Pixar, which ultimately partnered with Disney to release the top-grossing movie of 1996, Toy Story. Steve Jobs, the personal side. Steve Jobs' 12-year absence from Apple was not only a period of growth professionally, but also personally. After his adoptive mother's passing in 1986, Jobs went on a quest to find his biological mother Joanne Schiebel, who had also given birth to Jobs' unknown sister Mona Simpson. On the same journey, Jobs met Laurene Powell and married her in 1991. With Powell's encouragement, Jobs tried to rebuild his relationship with his estranged daughter, Lisa Brennan, who eventually moved in with him and Powell. Jobs' personal interactions mirrored his business approach, either he was intensely passionate or cold. How Steve Jobs saved Apple. In 1996, Gil Amelio became CEO of Apple to stop the company's decline. Amelio decided to acquire Next Software, making Jobs an advisor to Apple. Jobs then gradually gained more influence within the company and even forced the board to resign. He also established a partnership with Microsoft, ending a decade of legal battles. Apple's board offered Jobs the CEO position, but he declined and helped in the search for a new CEO. Eventually, Jobs became CEO and focused on making fewer products. His leadership resulted in Apple recording a profit of $309 million in 1998, effectively saving the company. The visionary partnership behind Apple's success. Discover the story of the collaborative vision between Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive that resulted in the creation of Apple's most iconic products. Their first partnership was the iMac, which challenged traditional computer design and sold faster than any other Apple product. However, Jobs worried that Apple's unique products would get lost in generic technology stores, leading him to create the concept of an Apple Store. Jobs meticulously designed a prototype store down to the smallest detail, creating a sense of minimalism that would become a hallmark of the brand. The first Apple Store opened in May 2001, and it was a massive success that elevated retailing and brand image to a whole new level. Jobs' Digital Hub Strategy. This book summary traces Steve Jobs' vision of a personal computer at the center of a new digital lifestyle, his digital hub strategy. His vision saw the personal computer as a control center for coordinating various devices from music players to video cameras. The first Apple product to realize this vision was the portable music player, the iPod. Despite skeptics' claims that no one would spend $399 for a music player, its success was unprecedented, accounting for 50% of Apple's revenues by 2007. The next product that followed was Apple's cell phone, the iPhone, debuting in 2007. Critics were skeptical that consumers would pay $500 for a cell phone, yet by the end of 2010, profits from iPhone sales constituted over half of the total profits in the global cell phone market. The iPad followed in 2010, with over 1 million units sold in the first month and 15 million in the first 9 months. Jobs' digital hub strategy revolutionized the consumer technology industry with iPod, iPhone, and iPad, transforming Apple into one of the most valuable companies globally. Steve Jobs' unconventional struggle with cancer. Steve Jobs, the famed co-founder of Apple, was diagnosed with cancer during a routine medical exam. Jobs refused surgery, opting instead for alternative methods like acupuncture and veganism, which ultimately failed as his cancerous tumor grew. After a few months, he underwent surgery, followed by a strict diet of fruits and vegetables when the cancer recurred in 2008, which led to him losing over 40 pounds. Eventually convinced to have a liver transplant, Jobs' health severely declined afterwards, leading to his death in 2011. Despite his unconventional approach to fighting his illness, Jobs left a lasting mark in the tech industry with his tightly integrated Apple products providing seamless user experience.
Walter Isaacson's Steve Jobs allows us to delve into the mind of a genius who revolutionized the tech industry and our daily lives. From his difficult upbringing to his adventures with counterculture, Jobs' story showcases his unique approach to business and indomitable spirit. His passion for design, perfectionism, and intuitive understanding of human needs led to the creation of some of the most iconic products in the world. Despite his personal life's ups and downs, Jobs made history with Apple, Next, and Pixar, reshaping the technology landscape and captivating millions with his vision. In the end, Jobs' life has immense significance as a lesson in perseverance, dedication, and the pursuit of excellence.